Now we are live. When Shad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Javed Karim created YouTube in 2005, little did they know that their brainchild would spawn the phenomena of user-generated video content. Today, more than 300 hours of video are uploaded by users on the YouTube app or platform every minute, resulting in billions of views per year. And a host of other video apps, sharing and social apps have come up, which have become all the rage amongst millions and millions and hundreds of millions of users the world over. Right from Twitter, the Facebook, and hundreds of new entrants such as TikTok, Firework, Reposo. Then you've got Bolo India and tons of others which have come up from our domestic side. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of IndianTelevision.com's The Content Hub Tech Series. My name is Anil Banwari, and I'm the founder, CEO, and editor-in-chief of the IndianTelevision.com group, which is behind such pioneering initiatives such as Telechecker.com, RadioandMusic.com, AnimationExpress.com, the Indian Tele Awards, Vidnet, the Content Hub, the Video and Broadband Summit, Brandwidth, the Media and Entertainment HR Summit. I could go on and on. I also look after the world's leading video content platforms and markets such as MIPCOM, MIPTV, Asia Television Forum, and Esports Power for the India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh regions. IndianTelevision.com has over the past year initiated and pioneered a series of virtual roundtables in partnership with leading video tech suppliers and video content industry practitioners to help in spreading an understanding of tech and business challenges and solutions around them. In this episode, we are very happy to talk with a group of experts and industry practitioners with the rise of user-generated content platforms and the tech that enable this rise. This episode is being powered by global tech leader, Akamai Technologies. Thank you for that. Thank you for being with us, Akamai. What is the technical architecture that goes into making a successful UGC video service? What is their business model and that of their creators? How have they fared during the pandemic, and what kind of challenges are they continuing to face? What are the practices business executives and tech professionals have put in place to optimize and provide a best-in-class service? These and many other questions will be answered by a very, very respectable panel, which consists of Firework Head of Content and Strategic Partnership, Sudarshan Kadam. Welcome, Sudarshan. Are you here?
Yes.
Welcome. Reposo co-founder and VP Product Management, Glance, Avinash Saxena. A big welcome to you, Avinash.
Thank you.
Samosa Lab founder and ex-CEO, Abhilash Inumela. Welcome, Abhilash. Bolo India co-founder and CEO, Varun Saxena.
Hello.
Akamai Technologies Director of Products, APJ Media, Rishi Verma. A big welcome to you, Rishi. You're speaking from Singapore, right?
Yes, I am.
Welcome. Z5 Business Expansion Project and Head of Products, Rajneet Kumar.
Hi.
Now, some sanitizing notes here, please. Yes, we are in the thick of a pandemic called COVID 2019. That's why I'm using that much overused word called sanitization. If you're viewing this on Zoom, that means you've managed to get yourself in within the limit of 100 that we've kept ourselves to. If you're watching the live stream on IndianTelevision.com's Facebook, ITV News, with a Z, not an S, then a big hearty welcome to you. Also, please post questions to me and to the panelists on any issue related to the topic in discussion for the day, in the question and answer panel or chat panel on Zoom, or comment on the live feed on Facebook. We have 3 Amazon vouchers to give away to those who ask the best questions. We will email these vouchers to you at the end of the session that we are going on. You can go on a merry shopping binge on Amazon, buying yourself a book or your kids some gifts. Okay, enough of my talking. Let's get on with the show here. You're here to see what these people have to say here. I'll begin by throwing a question to the panel. What's so unique about UGC apps that differentiates them from OTT video entertainment apps like Netflix or Amazon? Who'd like to take a shot at this? What's so different about the UGC apps? Rishi, you want to have a go at it? Please unmute.
Absolutely. So, as a technology provider to both UGC content providers as OTT providers, the biggest difference we really see is that the amount of content that really comes up from user-generated content apps is phenomenal. Like on an average day, just the live portion of it for some of our UGC customers an individual customer could have 25 to 30,000 concurrent people broadcasting at any given point in time. And if you're talking about just videos, like short videos that are uploaded, they are in the tune of a few millions every minute. And that's a phenomenal number. And that by itself creates a base for which people just come in and view content, especially in a world where you're starved for new content and there's some amount of subscriber fatigue. User generated content is really the avenue in which they sort of release it.
Great. Can I have Varun give his perspective, because I believe he's had a good time in the last 3 months. His app has been really being downloaded a lot.
Right, Anil. To add to that, I believe that what actually clicks with when it comes to the UGC content with the users is it actually makes them the power center, right? Unlike say a OTT platform where they are actually supplied with whatever is available with the OTT platform, a UGC platform allows the user to power with himself, and he can go out and create social capital, can create financial capital out of it. He can create multiple opportunities if he's say very active on a UGC platform, and being able to create that kind of a value on through the content on any platform. And he can use multiple modes, right? Short videos is one of the most preferred ways, which the friend has said. Then you have the live sessions are there these days. Even live video debates are going on, video discussions. I know of platforms, and even we are working on bringing in video comments as well. So people love the format, and they love to be able to contribute in the way they want, at their own convenience. And that's where I believe that UGC is becoming a hit, because people are realizing that a person sitting in Ladakh can become popular in Mumbai. Now that's a power which a UGC platform brings, and that's where we believe that UGC is the next thing.
Fantastic. So Avinash, let's have your take on it, and I'll move on to Abhilash and then finally to Sudarshan before Rajni comes in, because he's running both. He's planning on starting the second one, but he's running a successful OTT service. Yeah.
I think I will just add to what Varun and Rishi has covered. Obviously, UGC is where the user is the star. So as the world is changing, everyone now thinks that they can be star, and platforms are available through which people can they can connect to their audience. And so every girl in a small town thinks or not even thinks, she knows she can be Alia, as popular as Alia. All she has to do is create very good content and connect to her followers and her audience, and platforms are there. Obviously, so a lot of people create content, but on the consumer side also, I think what happens is, because a lot more amount of content is created, and it's created from every nook and corner of the country, of the world. So as an audience also, I can get exactly what I am interested in, and that is why recommendation engines also work very absolutely great in UGC platform, because there is so many types of UGC created, and it covers and it relates to so many people that you can understand each and every person's taste, and tailor made their feed for them, and they will just love it because it represents them, and they can connect to them, connect to the videos as well as the creators of those videos.
Fantastic. So over to Abhilash.
Yeah, I think UGC proliferation happened primarily because of mobile phones. Everybody has a like a recording device in their pocket, and because of which we can now capture the very dynamic nature of the world, and everybody can just spin up their phone and record it. And this sort of a dynamic nature of the things that are happening around, and dynamic things that are happening in our own lives, these things are not getting, like OTT platforms, they don't give much priority to these sorts of things, whereas a UGC platform captures this dynamic nature of events unfolding around us. So that's the key to UGC.
I think also there is not a debate between UGC and streaming platforms, because kind of content is very different. Maybe use case is also different. People use them for different things. The kind of quality or storytelling that you can get in a video which is professionally created is quite different from what you get from a UGC. And also, so their use cases are different, and people also take them as, different platforms. They don't see them as competition.
Right, I agree with Avinash over here. In fact, you will never find OTT platform, for that matter, anytime said to be a competitor of a UGC platform. And even if say we talk about UGC platforms, we talk about say Roposo, we talk about Bolo India. Even within UGC platforms, we are offering multiple and different use cases for the users. So so a lot of UGC platforms, while at the face it may look like they are similar, or they're trying to compete with OTT, I guess it's more about being able to solve a different use case for the user, apart from very minor overlaps.
Great. So now, Abhilash, you had your say now. Sudarshan, and then Rajni, and then we'll go back to we'll raise a few questions.
Right. As everyone is saying, right? UGC is basically getting to a different segment, and we are trying to solve different use cases for each one of the segment of the categories. The UGC content is normally, focused on wider audiences, and like not like OTT, right? So if you look at Firework, we are trying to address a third category of content, not UGC or not the PGC content. What we are looking at basically PUGC. So again, we are trying to solve one more content category, or maybe giving those guys one more platform to showcase their talent and monetize. So what UGC basically is doing for a normal a person who's got a phone and a data connectivity, and they can shoot and show their talent. Apart from showing the talent, they can also go and monetize. They can also basically do a lot of stuff that they're not able to do it on OTT platform. And I think that's the beauty of UGC platforms right now. So it's not limited to the guys who are like have their name in case of maybe content production, acting, and everything. Here, anyone can basically become Alia, as someone just pointed out.
Fantastic. So Rajni, you're running an OTT platform now. You're looking at getting the UGC space. So what's your use case, and what do you see as the difference between them in terms of the tech stack as well as the the user experience?
Sure. As everybody's aware, ZEE5 is one of the largest OTT platforms that started off. But consistently over the last year, we have been very focused on moving away from the two primary types of content, which is one, which is catch-up TV content. Second, which is original programming, to get into different types of content use cases that we could create for the user. So I will speak about UGC for sure, but maybe I should just speak about a super app journey. So from these two primary content pieces, we moved on to music videos. Then we moved on to live TV, which has become a very large offering of what we do. We also have news on our platform where it's just not our bouquet, but a very large bouquet of video content that we provide, channels that we provide. And on news also, we have our ambitions of moving away from only video content and getting into video plus text, which is a completely new development that we're doing. We recently launched our gaming platform called Play on our platform, which also has seen some initial good traction. We tied up with one of the largest game providers in the world, which is Gameloft, and have some very high quality games on the platform. And we are seeing up to 8 minutes per session time being spent, and about 6 sessions per day per user, which is happening. That just cemented our entire decision that the way that we started working on UGC a year back, it will be another use case that we will create on the platform and really truly become a super app. So that's been our journey and how UGC fits onto our platform. When you talk about the tech stack and the product stack, yes, we had to do things very differently. As you can imagine, everything that happens on a mobile phone when you want an immersive experience with OTT content, it's happening in a landscape mode. Suddenly with UGC, now you're looking at a portrait mode, and that also a full screen. So that was a complete new development that we needed to do, which went from the player to how the content is uploaded, so on and so forth. Also on the kind of video content that goes on the platform, we worked very closely with Akamai, who works across various platforms, to understand that the current understanding that we have of where we want to give the best experience to the user on every device that he is. If he's on a large TV, we want to give him 4K content. If he's on the mobile web, we want to make sure that we are streaming effectively. How do we tackle UGC content? And there we went on by even changing the kind of streams that we use, moving away from a traditional HLS with DRM, etc., to moving on to MP4 and being able to optimize that. So that has been a little about how our journey into a super app has been, and the kind of couple of very high level but changes that we needed to make on the platform to account for UGC.
Fantastic. So I'm just trying to get a handle on this. I believe I was on an international call the other day. People were talking about VP9 being used very well by Hotstar in India.
Yeah.
So could you elaborate a little on that? I mean, why aren't you all taking that route for live, or are you all taking that route?
For VP9?
Yeah.
Yeah, VP9 is something which, we believe that people who got onto the platform got onto it early. It's been around for a while. And now what we are actually looking at is the next generation of video codecs and understanding how they could, come on directly. So it's like going from a 3G to 5G as opposed to going for a 4G. That's really where. So it worked well for Hotstar, and I'm glad. But in all fairness, our journey has been about 2 years only, as opposed to a 6-7 year journey. So they had to get onto VP9, but we are looking at more instances such as AV1, etc. And, embracing those and just jump starting, leapfrogging from where we are to the next level.
Fantastic. So now coming back, we got the difference between, and I'm not saying they're competing, but they're competing for time. That's very clear. Their audiences are different. I understand. Each of the creators has their own audience. But again, the same guy who loves a creator also loves OTT shows. He probably would be watching. So we're competing on time. Probably a lot of the user-generated content is consumed on the fly when people are traveling. It's easier to watch. It's shorter form, unlike OTT shows, which are more engaging and keep you engaged for a longer time. So coming down to the pandemic, during this lockdown period, how have each of you fared in terms of, first of all, the guys who have not mentioned the specific use case scenarios for your platforms, mention that when you'll come up. And how have you all fared during this pandemic, the lockdown? And how are you all faring now that the opening up is happening? Is it giving more creative freedom to the creators who are locked up at home? Now they're going out and they're filming more. So I'll leave it to, I'll begin with Avinash to start giving his view.
Great. So Anil, I will talk about two platforms maybe in a three platform way. One is obviously Glance, which is like a lock screen for almost all the phones in India now, all the Android phones in India and abroad as well. We have close to 100 million, more than 100 million DAU now. And a lot of people see content through their lock screens on their phone, and content is also, it's news as well as videos, and we have a game center there also, and a game center is working phenomenally there. And second part is Roposo, which is a community-led social network. It's a short video platform and getting very popular in India. We are now more than 5 crore, users in India now, and lot of content created every day, millions of videos created every month. These are short videos. Also, what we have is various channels in which these videos go, and rather than having a single channel, feed like other short video platforms, we believe India is very diverse, and all of the guys need avenues to express what they want to express, and forcing them to come into a single feed just kills the diversity that India represents, and focuses on only one kind of content. So that is why our content on Roposo is very diverse. You will find a lot of people doing various things, right from talent to, expressing their views or saying news from their local areas to teaching something. And all of that is going on Roposo. And third, I would also, bark upon a new, very interesting thing that we have worked on, which is, we thought while Roposo is working brilliantly for its communities, and Glance is helping to, increase the outreach of the videos created through the community, why not help other apps to create short video platforms? And that is why we also have a very interesting SDK now that we already are testing with a couple of partners, and which can help any app become a short video platform for their own community. So imagine, a Swiggy, having their own food community inside their app is a short video community about food, right? Or a 1mg or a Snapdeal having their communities for commerce, or for or doctors communities, helping people take care of themselves, helping them with healthcare, healthcare videos, healthcare benefit suggestions, and those. So in a way, we are helping. We want all apps to become video first and short video first community apps, and connect with their audience. We are already doing this test with a couple of partners. We are seeing wonderful results there as well. All together on our on our partners on Roposo, we see every user spend around 20-25 minutes every day watching 100 videos, short videos in one day. And it's been growing in this COVID world. I think Roposo is serving its purpose as one way to connect people through, and keeping them alive through very interesting and fun videos, and helping them get over the boredom of being restricted to their house. Also participate together, together create interesting videos, collab on videos, all of those community ways of engagement, which is keeping their moral high. I think as it's easing out, we are seeing a lot of videos now created out of home. Otherwise, roof was becoming a very popular place to create videos. Now people are going out, and you'll also see a lot of interesting videos coming about masks, or creating awareness about COVID. We actually, on the video front, we created very interesting filters, video filters for people to raise awareness for COVID. What are the different things people can do, and what filters and video filters does is it helps anyone create interesting videos. So a lot of people created videos. We also have a channel dedicated to COVID, which is around which is around both the things, interesting jokes or very important information about COVID, and how to take care of themselves, how to take care different part of their lifestyle now, or how to connect what's happening in office, and how people are connected in office. All of those things shared about in that channel. We have seen continuous rise in Roposo. It's been #1 trending in social category these days for continuous many days. We have been trending on Twitter, etc. Also, I think as a product developer or as a founder, I think best product should win. We are competing directly with TikTok almost on this, although our product is very different. But luckily our home crowd is supporting us. That's what we always love to see. We are among them. We are like them. We are boys among the boys here playing in the colonies, and that is why these guys are supporting us. It's very heartening to see how people are coming out on not only on raising awareness about Roposo, but also telling us what to improve, and giving us constructive feedback on what to work, how to make app better. I think hopefully we are working with them to make it one of the best apps in the world.
So you're basically going to offer a white label kind of a service to Swiggy, or is it going to be your own?
It's not a white label service. It's kind of a it mentioned it's because network is finally Roposo, and the videos created on Swiggy should also go on Roposo and Glance. So it's not a white label solution, but it's a solution right on their app, focused on their community.
Great. I move on to Abhilash. You've actually grown a beard. The picture I have of you looks very, very different, but great to have beards. All power to the beards.
Thank you. My wife is also complaining a lot about my beard.
Okay.
I keep saying it's her problem, not my problem.
best way to get a little back on your knuckles.
Yeah.
She's probably given you a few, but let's get on with it.
Yeah, so I think I ran a short video app, Samosa, for the last 5 years, and we sold the product to another gaming company last year. And during this pandemic, I've been working with a education company called Outnut. So that company also does a lot of UGC content on their app. The company is doing about 1 million daily active users, and there's we're seeing a typical 1% user created content on the platform. And during the pandemic, there was no increase or decrease in the amount of UGC that was getting posted. And on the creation side, and on the consumption side, there's definitely an increase in the time spent. To be specific, around 40-50% increase over the months. And most of the content that is UGC content in EdTech has a different set of challenges. The challenges are the content has to be much more cleaner. Like parents are super concerned about kids, and a lot of these kids are using their parents' phones. So it requires like much more care in terms of handling the content, in terms of making sure it is teenager child compliant. So it's a UGC in sort of a ed tech is a very different ball game compared to other sorts of spaces, and that's what I have realized during this pandemic.
Great, thank you for that. So Darshan, you're one company which is raring to go, like many others.
Thank you so much. So as I mentioned earlier, right, we are focusing on professionally user-generated content. So we are not purely user-generated content, or not also PGC content, like the content kind of you have on Netflix or Amazon or even Z5. So we are trying to basically build something in between, because there's a huge gap when it comes to targeting the user base. The other focus that we have is basically when we look at these PUGC content partners. Of course, these are users, but these are professional users who are looking for showcasing their talent. And plus, we also work with a lot of media houses, like 100 plus media houses across world, to basically provide them a short video, either network or maybe kind of help them create their short video kind of KPIs. So those are the two things we are focusing on right now. Of course, we are not application, or we are not a website or a destination where we are asking people to come and watch the video. What we are doing is we are working with partners across the globe. We already have like 500 plus partners working with us. These are from kind of website bloggers. Then we have smart TVs and kind of OEMs, and now even operators are basically working with us to kind of start their short video service. And may reach out to the new audience that they are missing right now with their own OTT service, because the UGC or a short video basically is liked by the younger generation, or the generation which has like very little attention span. They want content which they can snack in like a couple of seconds, and maybe go to the next video, and they don't have the commitments, or they don't want to basically become loyal to one particular content pieces. And that's the beauty of UGC or PUGC content, because with 30 seconds of duration, you can showcase in n number of content genres. Like Firework has like 39 genres already on board, and we are adding more and more going forward. So these genres and sub-genres put together, we cater to almost 180 plus different categories of the content where user can basically go and watch. Of course, we are not limiting ourselves to a dance, or maybe a mimic, or maybe something which is very popular, which is very gimmicky. We are focusing on content which basically kind of is like a storytelling content which can basically keep people engaged and give some kind of a message to the end user. So that's why we are focusing on PUGC part of the content. And our TG is again not teenager. Our TG is basically 18 to 40 or 18 to 35 is the main ages that we are looking at across our platform. And that's what when we look at the content, or maybe even the genres, these guys are basically looking for the specific content. And of course, we are adding many niche content pieces within our content category to basically accommodate everything. As I mentioned, we are not a short video application or website. So we are basically kind of native video solution for each one of the partners that we are working with. That's what helping our content creators basically to go and have their content pieces on content partners or websites or platforms where they would never individually go and reach out. Right. So that's the reach that we are trying to provide. And of course, monetization basically will give them more additional power to make them kind of independent or Atmanirbhar in terms of producing content.
Thank you for that. Varun, over to you.
Right. We have been trying to come up with a different use case entirely for the users. So we have our users being able to transform the social capital into financial capital. And that's where during the COVID times as well, we saw a lot of love from both the creators and the consumers. So as you know, we have content across category areas. So for example, we have astrologers who are creating videos around astrology and earning through the platform. We have Indian Idol finalist. She is teaching singing on the platform. We have a beatboxer who is taking sessions on the platform. So how we work is as a starter, you come on the platform, you create videos, you start building your social capital using the short video format. Once you have your own follower base, a strong community around that, you can then later on translate the kind of genre you are coming from to offer certain services to the users, who trust you, because trust is a very important factor when we talk about online platforms. Why would a person pay someone else unless I trust? So you build that trust through short videos, and then you leverage that for financial capital, and that's where the use cases have been working, wonderfully, both for the creators and the consumers. For a consumer on a single platform, they get to access a strong horizontal set of videos. They can watch videos for a certain value add, as well as to discover a service and avail that service. So
So
that's
this
where
service is offline or it's online? Is it a virtual service or
online, online. So it's an online discovery of services. It's an online, so you get into a private one-to-one chat room with a video creator, for the interest area you believe on him. So for example, you can avail singing class online on the application itself by getting into a one-to-one private chat room with an Indian Idol finalist, probably to whom you never had the access, right? So that's there. So we have seen, like, during these COVID times, all this spike. There was a huge spike on the creator side. We have people who are earning 25 to 30,000 rupees per month already. And it's not like we are incentivizing them to create content. No, it's not that. It's something which they are earning through the services, right? And you talk about an engineer, a fresher graduate who gets into an IT company. He earns 22 to 25,000, as a starting salary. So that's where we have been able to resonate with the self-reliant India concept as well, which we all have been talking about. And during these times, I guess we are the youngest platform over here, among all the panelists. We are just a 1-year-old company, and we have seen people, spending around 37 to 38 minutes per day on the application over the last 3 months, and that has been consistently growing as well. And you will see people coming and creating videos, like on an average a creator is creating around 200 to 300 videos on the application on a monthly basis. Consumer is watching around, say, 27 to 28 videos per day. So for us, the average duration of a video is 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. So that's the average duration around which we are offering our use cases. And it's been a very strongly network effect which is coming into the picture, both on the consumer side and the creator side.
Great, thank you for that. Now over to Rajni. You still haven't. Your OTT has gone crazy. The video entertainment have. We agree, but your UGC case, has it started, or and what is it going to be like? Is it around Bollywood personalities? Is it around celebrities? Your Z family of TV artists?
So I think, Anil, you started with the question about how the COVID and how the content consumption, how that has moved, and now with opening up, what do we see? So maybe let me answer that, and I will answer this also along with that. So I'll divide my, the content into 3 buckets: the catch-up TV content, the original content, and news content. So 3 different buckets which we have been tracking very closely as COVID started and the lockdown happened, and now that it's opening up. Once lockdown came in, as you can imagine, we had a little bit of bank of TV content, but that started to drop, obviously, across all the languages. So those audiences started to first, there was a big shift in them consuming a lot. And then because the content stopped to come in, we saw those audiences starting to move towards discovering a lot of the original content. We saw our subscription increase as far as purchases are concerned. Those started to spike, and people who probably would not have tried originals earlier started to experiment with that, and that's where we saw an upside. On the third front, on news, of course, that has been something which has been heavily consumed across the various platforms. But on our platform, we have seen a significant spike on it. And because we have been using and doing a lot of work around recommendation and personalizing even news to make sure that we have contextual, localized news for the users, that has been quite high. As far as now that we're getting out of lockdown is concerned, a couple of states like Karnataka, Hyderabad, the content has started to come back. I believe Tamil Nadu also should start to come back shortly. As far as Maharashtra is concerned, that's something that we're tracking very closely. And I think towards the end of the month, all the large series should be coming back on the platform. So we'll be very, very happy for that, because of course we would love to have those audiences back on the platform. During this phase, we have tried, experimented with content by creating, short from home with these artists, etc., which has also been a very interesting way to look at content, which has been interesting. On the UGC platform, we are in beta right now, in a closed beta, and we are testing it out. everybody here is pretty much from the tech world, so you can imagine that we are currently trying to integrate into the core application, and we have to do that very carefully because you have to look at performance, you have to look at all the device types. So that's really the stage that we are in. As far as our content and marketing teams are concerned, they're all prepped up. We have content which on the content creator side, you see, we have always used a lot of intelligence and analytics to see what kind of content we produce. So even for our original programming, we use various models in which we create content clusters and then create content around it. Similarly, with all my great panelists here, we've been analyzing what the consumers have been consuming across all the platforms and working backwards in saying that what do we stand for and how do we bridge the gap. So like Sudarshan was saying, we will not be only a UGC platform. It will be content that we will curate and create because we have huge affinity for the artists that we have already on the platform across languages. So we are going to obviously leverage that, but also create enough ample opportunities for the audiences to create content around it. So that
all of you have talked about it now. The tech stack, you're actually landing into a place with a lot of, it's a minefield. You're going to have an OTT play, you're going to have a live play, you're going to have your UGC side. How the hell are you going to cope with all this? I mean, you must be building an army of product specialists and engineers.
Yes, we have been at it for a year. But Anil, if you look back at the last 9 years, none of us predicted everything that has happened in the 9 years. So I think we are as good as we are willing to learn and make corrections. I don't think any one of us has ever a perfect answer. And if anybody says I have the answer, he'll be probably lying. We definitely don't have all the answers, but we definitely have put in a lot of team of specialists, both on the engineering side, on the product side, on the moderation side, obviously the content side, to be able to pull this off. And that's why, and we have worked with large international companies also, not only Indian companies, to be able to leverage their expertise in pulling this off.
No, but if you go wrong somewhere, you could lose probably a few $1 million in terms of your tech requirements. At some stage, in terms of audience build up, in terms of subscriber services, in terms of maybe your OTT might go down, your video, maybe the UGC might spike up. So your CDN costs, your codecs, your decoding, encoding, all the costs are going to go a little berserk. So how are you going to keep a tab on that? What are you going to do? Analytics and what else are you going to use?
Yeah. So our ambition in the UGC space is fairly high. We know that it will start to spike once we bring it out because the native audiences are already there on the platform. It works on virality, and we are hoping that we seed enough content for it to become viral. As far as the tech stack is concerned, it's good to be worried, but I don't think we need to be overtly worried because everything today works as a microservice. One going down does not necessarily bring the other way down. We have, completely split the way that we are ingesting. So at the back end, we have two different CMSs. Each has different ingestions, each of them running on different parallel paths. Only on the front end is where it comes together. So where it comes together is on the front end to display. It comes together in the recommendation. It comes together in search. And then obviously in the discovery across the platform.
And also the players. Are you having different players or are you going to have?
We have the same player that we are using. However, we are using it differently.
Okay. I'll talk to you about this a little offline if you don't want to elaborate a little more right now. But I'll come back to the rest of the panelists in terms of, so you had spikes. Abhilash didn't have too many spikes. He said they continued. But when you had spikes, what happened to your backend in terms of how did you all cope? And did you all see your costs spiraling? And how did you all manage to optimize your entire, I'll ask this to Rishi actually first. What did you see happening across the region?
So it's interesting, right? We've had phenomenally different experiences in different parts of the world and in different operators within the same region as well. There are some in Southeast Asia which went 4 times in a span of their traffic went 4 times in a span of 4 weeks, and there are that like Abhilash said, which stayed relatively flat. That didn't really spike up as much, but overall we saw on a month-on-month transition of about 30% more consumption, which is quite phenomenal if you think about it, because over a year you see about 70-75% increase. You saw 30% month-on-month. Do that for 3 months and you have doubling it in a span of a quarter, right? So that's phenomenal. That said, it's also a time where people are exploring. To Rajneel's comment, the tech stack's already there. You have the Lego pieces. It's just about taking them, putting them together, and for the right kind of experience. And from a UGC perspective, what we see most of our customers sort of gravitating towards is, again, we see this in two types of user-generated content, whether it's live or short videos. For live, it's really latency. Latency is one of the biggest things that our customers really pushed for, and we've been exploring and integrating new technology to adapt to that. Whether it's just traditionally shortening up HLS and Dash, or adopting more cutting edge pieces like chunked encoding with CMAF, which can give you sort of 2 to 3 second latency consistently without breaking anything else that you might be doing. And this is important because you may want to keep a seamless ecosystem in the front that works with your traditional OTT vehicles, and that works with your traditional ad insertion vehicles and so on. You have the flexibility to sort of use these new Lego pieces in an existing framework. That's on the live side. On the short clip side, it's really around uploads, and that's the other place where we saw a lot more consumption. Is people are not just sitting and viewing stuff in their houses when they're locked down. They're also making a lot of things in little rooms and uploading. So the bi-directional traffic increase has been both phenomenal as well as quite rewarding.
Yeah, but in times like this, when you can't understand the load, you got to be very responsive, right? Have you seen that happening in the region where people have had to optimize because you're seeing 30% month on month? I mean, I don't think anybody was ready for this, so they had to scramble around and get things in order.
So that's one of the benefits of using a technology stack like Akamai in the front, where we can really absorb a lot of that load. The Akamai network can scale to tens of terabits in any given region pretty quickly, and we've done events that have gone up to 25 plus million concurrent viewers at any given point in time. So being
that's
able
on the live
to
side.
scale,
Yeah.
Sorry?
That's on the live side.
That's on the live side. On the VOD side, that's an average number every day. It's not a peak. And it's easy to scale on that front. So when you have something like an Akamai sitting in front, it sort of helps you scale. The challenge is on how you start processing those uploads. When you see a proportional amount of volume that comes up, where you need to take those short videos, process it, churn it, and then put it out, that becomes challenging. And yes, but it's been hard, but most of the customers and partners we've worked with are nimble enough to have actually worked around that. It's been challenging, but not catastrophic.
Essentially, they were ready for IPL, which didn't happen. So
that's a good thing that it didn't happen in a way, though it's a bad thing for the ecosystem as a whole, because that much money didn't come into the ecosystem. I'd like you to talk about what he just talked about, processing, especially the UGC guys. How are you coping with that? All the videos, moderating them, ensuring that the wrong videos don't go up, ensuring that the entire experience from the creator, that he has to upload videos, then it has to be tagged right, then it has to be discovered right. That puts a lot of weight on things which you didn't expect to have really happening on your tech stack so early and so quickly. Whoever wants to take a shot. Whoever's taking a shot, come on, guys, this is your chance.
I mean, I haven't gone live, so I want to talk about it, please.
Okay, so I'll take. So with Firework, we have AI plus ML and human moderation for any piece that goes out on the platform. So user can upload any content, but when it comes to content going onto the platform or going into the Firework network, it has to go through AI ML kind of screening first, and then there is a human moderation team again, basically kind of moderate that content in 3 stages. Whenever we see there's a content which is flagged up by the system or maybe by our moderating team, we go through that content and make sure that that content is not hurting any sentiments. Content is not basically as per the guidelines provided by individual countries, because we operate across globe right now. So we have teams set out across different places, across different continents. Those teams basically work 24/7 to make sure that every piece going on the platform is properly moderated and not. That's why we are one of the safe platforms, and we are working with likes of kind of Disney and a couple of other partners and getting their content on board. And apart from that, we also kind of use some bit of again human kind of intervenes to even the kind of have those content pieces for going across partners as per their requirement, or maybe as per the, what their KPIs to show it to the user. Like for example, if Disney wants if any of the content pieces, whenever they are kind of populated on the network, it has to be surrounded by a good content, good content, or content which is safe for children, or safe for kind of that age group. Then our human moderation along with machine learning make sure that it happens properly, and content is safe, and whenever customer is watching, he watches that particular content piece.
No, is it fail-proof in your case? But despite everything that another platform had, still some videos kind of sneak through. So a professional user might, say something which might be offensive to someone or the other. And how do you manage that? And you take down. That's it. Beyond that, but you get ahead.
So human moderation is the last thing. First is basically we have kind of like for example cuss words, right? So we have some 1,000+ cuss words from different languages already kind of we have that library which is basically kind of part of our AI or ML. So after that, there's a human moderation which finally authorizes that content piece to go.
Despite all that, something will sneak through because of the quantum of content that's coming.
In our case, it is not, because we have the creators or producers which are professionally kind of in nature, right? So we are not working with, so they are certified creators, they are certified content partners.
But
So
do you constantly
proper
improve their videos they uploaded before they uploaded, because that what might be seen as clean, a clean video might actually end up being offensive to somebody else. Yes. Then what do you do?
So that's why I said we have different kind of content moderation teams across India, or maybe different continents that we represent. Like for example, we had a similar problem occurred when there was a Durga Puja happening, right? So that Durga Puja content was flagged off in Brazil, saying this is fire hazard. But when we kind of saw that, it is basically a cultural thing for us, right? So that content was basically kind of geo-blocked for kind of Brazil and US, but it was available in India because that's a culture, and that's what we would like to show. So those kind of things are
you go to geo-blocking rather than takedown. Yes. What about the rest of y'all from the UGC side? Take a shot. When I ask, I'm going to identify.
Yeah, for us, because a lot of content is created from the community all across the country and abroad. Similar problems exist, and we have multiple layers of moderation, and which comprises of first layer, which is machine learning and computer assisted moderation. Then a second layer, which is user moderation. What we also do after that is, because our community is very active, we have given them tools as well to flag, content that they don't think is appropriate, and we are very sensitive to it. We are very, we take care that any flags that are raised by our community or the people using our app is dealt very seriously. We try to make clear policies, as clear as possible about the policies, around what kind of content is good, what kind of content is not good, and what kind of content can be marked for a user age group. And then we, whenever anything is flagged, even after all the moderation layer that we have gone through, we analyze them according to our policies, and then decide if we have to take it down, or it should be marked for a particular kind of audience only, and should be restricted to a particular jurisdiction only. And that is how whole moderation piece works as major. Our community plays a very big role in this, because sensitivities are, in India it says that sensitivities change in a couple of kilometers, like language, so we have to listen to people very actively on that, and we take our team is very cautious about understanding what user is saying and listening to them.
Yeah, Varun, or you like to?
Anil, pretty similar to what Avinash said. Community plays a very big role for us as well, and that ensures that you were talking about some content which still remains there on the platform, which skips the filtration from the human moderation. I believe that's where the community role comes into the picture. And so once community flags the content, we do see that whether it has to be removed entirely from the platform or it has to be restricted, just like Avinash said, because that's how for example, if I talk about say a content around say LGBT, it may hurt sentiments of certain people, but it's something which is a popular view as well, right? So you need to ensure that if say someone has marked that kind of a content, then probably you are restricting to show him that kind of a content in future, but it is not something which should be removed from the platform. Or so it the call has to be taken on the basis of the content by content subgenres based on how the community flags it, whether it's PAM community or it is restricted to a specific demography itself. So it's, I guess, as Avinash said, community plays a role over here, beyond AI and ML. And later on, you can use these things to make your AI and ML systems much more intelligent moving forward.
Yeah. So, as this entire user generated, it's in its very early stages now, it starts maturing. If you're looking at best practices, some of the best practices have come out of Netflix in terms of the tech stack, in terms of user experiences. So what do you think your guys will have to change and evolve to, stand out from each other, apart from duration of videos, et cetera, et cetera? Where do you all see yourself technically and providing a user experience apart from possibly, monetization? What are the other areas you all could, look at offering to the users?
Maybe let me, sorry, please go ahead.
No, please go on.
Okay, so I'll tell you how we are looking at it. For us, user experience now suddenly has a new complexity. You are putting a big budget movie next to a creator from anywhere and that content. And for a user, either of the content could be important. It's not that one is more important than the other. And that's where what we are personally working on is a complete track on hyper-personalization. At the very core of it, the more personal we make the platform, the better we'll be able to unearth the correct content for the user. And this again cuts across UGC. So we got UGC, we got catch-up television, we got original programming, we got music videos, we got news. So if personalization is not at the heart of what we are building, you will, and if you think that you'll be able to solve it by creating tabs on top of the mobile phone where a person will go, a user is not going to do that. Because everybody knows that beyond the first screen, nobody really wants to scroll and see what is there on the menu. So in the horizontal scroll of the mobile phone is where we are building on saying, how can we take this real estate and make it far more intelligent and break away from the traditional way of looking at rails of content, one below the other, to bring in discoverability. So that's really one of the key things that we are solving at our side.
So, but that's going to put a lot of challenges on you on the AI, ML, as well as on your analytics side. It's going to bring a lot of challenges on you. So yes. How are you going to scale up in that area?
Well, we have been working on our analytic partner. We already have one of the best in the world with whom we work on our platform. Those signals now we will start reading differently from what comes out of a shorts platform, because all of that has to eventually be monetized. So when you monetize, you have different types of content needs to be done. However, what we are really looking forward to is now that you have interactivity on the content, which is liking something, following something, or even flagging off something. These are signals that we will start to be able to put at our side, and hopefully, because we know the genre of content the users are consuming, we would be able to start making interest segments out of this. So currently you would get a location, age, gender, type of handset, etc. And the interest really would be just about the content that he saw, which is he follows a particular series on the television, and this stands for this and therefore that is. We never know that he has a hobby around, say, gardening. But now if we see a user who's been watching videos around gardening, you suddenly have those signals and start to create your own bucket. So we have been running multiple programs, Anil, to gear up for this. We are building our own, we have a CDP, but we are building our own custom CDP on which we are building our own custom MarTech stack to be able to do this. And we have been building our own self-serve platform. So an advertiser, and very shortly, in about 3 months' time, we'll be launching that. An advertiser sitting in, say, Tamil Nadu could take a credit card and start advertising on the platform. And that we are supporting with our own ad server, which we have been building, which will, on top of which we are building a fairly robust auction and bid mechanism, as well as forecasting. All of this, again, powered by AI and ML, because you have the signals of all the users at one side. You have advertising to be served on the other side. You need to be able to take these signals and be able to put it on the platform. So that, and then eventually be able to monetize. So that's what we've been working on.
So you're going to become another Google in the sense you know everything about your users.
In a good way, in a good way, in a good way.
You'll have to be, your security needs, all of y'all. That's where I'm coming to. Your security has to be extremely, extremely, since you're gathering so much information, you'll know your consumers. Abhilash, you're in the education space, so you're pretty safe in that sense. So what are your, and each of you can answer it, step by step, beginning with Abhilash.
You mean
information security, content security? What are each of you using in terms of making sure you're secure and you're...
Yeah, unlike OTT platforms, UGC platforms don't worry so much about the DRM and all that stuff, because UGC platforms want to grow, and that means you want to be able to freely allow people to share content, circulate content, get them to put it up on WhatsApp, get them to put it up on Instagram, and so on. So the DRM security and all those rules, we don't really care about those things. But the thing that we feel most important are the algorithms that drive this content, because a lot of UGC content is not. So out of the 100 pieces of UGC contents, only 90 are good. Only 90 are, only 10 are good. Rest of the 90 are really of low quality. So the UGC algorithms have to be an elimination algorithm. So it has to find out those few things that are good, unlike an OTT platform, which is mostly good quality content. So that's one difference. The second difference is the algorithm has to work in certain manner before the network kicks in, and algorithms that work after network kicks in are different. And as soon as you put up a UGC platform, people don't start following each other. So you have to make that happen. And there are different sort of algorithms that help us before the network kicks in. So for example, one sort of algorithm is location-based voting. So first you perform well in your Gurgaon sector 52. And then you do well, your content will be shown to all of Gurgaon. Then your content will be shown to all of Delhi. Then your content will be shown to all of India. So that's location-based surfacing. This does not require a network. And this will surface certain kind of content. So for example, recipes don't end up in this sort of algorithm, because all the people around your location, they'll be also doing same recipes. So different sort of algorithms bubble up different sort of content. And in our case, in education sector, we need to use class as an anchor. So the content that is really working in a particular class, like class 7th or class 8th, is different from what works in class 12th. And the kind of memes they share and all of those are relevant to class 7, class 8 syllabus, class 7, class 8 upcoming exams, class 7, class 8 announcement, and so on. So the anchor points are different. So we can't use a location isn't so much relevant in a EdTech UGC algorithm. It's much more a class.
No, I was talking about security in terms of information security across to all of you all. How are you all going to ensure that there are no leakages of subscribers, emails, data, consumption habits?
Oh, yeah. For this, I think AWS has done a really, really awesome job. So they have very strong guidelines defined in their website itself, and they also provide a lot of free services, security related tutorials, and they even have like if you're doing billing beyond certain point, the team actually works with you. So I think a lot of these things are like commoditized. They're freely available because a lot of people have gone through the same set of problems again and again of these leakages and all. Like if you are in that phase whether you're dealing with a lot of personally identifiable information, I would say just speak to AWS people. They've seen everybody dealing with this stuff and they already have predefined solutions.
Okay, what about the rest of y'all?
Right. So, no, in our case, if you talk about, so one is content security. It's completely fine for us because we are a UGC platform. We want the branded content to be shared. As you rightly said, the information, the user information is a very, very critical aspect. So, so there are multiple layers to it. Once again, first of all, you do you ensure that you are using some of the stringent algorithms available out there, like SHA-256 and so on. You are using those algorithms in the right way. Then at different levels, you are also building your in-app gateways, which are ensuring any kind of a filtrage of the information of the user. Plus, if say a user is wanting to access his own information, how long will be the URL or the gateway be available to the user to be able to access that information. For example, a URL, the kind of timeout which you are putting on the URL, whether it's a one-time access URL, it's within one time it's encrypted every time the encryption is new, so that even if someone has decoded it the previous time, they cannot access the information second time through it. So there are different levels to it, and it's a very critical aspect, because if you talk about us, we also have financial transactions happening and everything, so it becomes much more important for us to ensure that level of information security.
Yeah, Avinash, and then Sudarshan after that.
Okay, so as Varun and Avilash said, right, we are a UGC platform. We are a UGC platform. Right now, we are not worried about content being circulated or content being shared on different platforms. So that's perfectly okay with us. When it comes to personal information or maybe financial transactions, we are a little bit far away from that right now, because we're just kind of getting into those things. But yeah, we being a US-based company, we definitely have like proper guidelines, and team is already working on it. And I think I'll share maybe more details once we have those things ready. But yeah, right now we are kind of not looking at any personal information. We are just tracking device ID for now. I think device ID is what is helping us, in terms of machine learning or in terms of catching user behavior, what is watching on different devices or different platforms. And that is what right now we are using for either recommendation or maybe giving him good content, or kind of studying the behavior of that particular user. So that's exactly what right now we are doing. But yeah, going forward, definitely, I think we will have a lot of things in place to make sure that financial transactions or maybe user information that we are capturing will be secured enough, as per the guidelines in US or maybe in Europe and everywhere, because we work across the countries.
Sure. So Rishi, from your perspective in the region, is this a concern area?
It is. There are two types of concerns that comes to this, right? One is, once you start collecting information that's proprietary to an individual, the question is how you store it, how you manage it. In certain countries, you have data localization rules, think GDPR. There are those variations spread across the different parts of Asia. So that is one primary question. And how are you handling the data? Are you storing it where you should? If you're pulling out log information that has these kind of bits in it, how are you manipulating it? Are your vendors also compliant? So on and so forth. So that's one tree of, or one branch of concern. The other interesting one usually comes up around infrastructural security. You may not get DDoSed, sure. There are like a gazillion ways in which you can prevent it, including using Akamai stack of solutions. But there are also other non-volumetric infrastructural attacks that can creep in, which can think, and I'm talking about thinking like SQL injections and so on. The press is hot with information about a certain gaming console company that's lost 200,000 gamers' information out to the public. They claim that no credit card information has been lost, but a lot of user-specific information has been hacked. So that sort of personal information hacks are a threat that a lot of these companies are concerned about. The third, less so, but increasingly so, is content manipulation. You might land up having an altered version of the content published than what was originally intended. So the hack doesn't necessarily steal content, but it modifies the content that has been published. Can be quite embarrassing, can be quite damaging, has a bunch of ripple effects as well.
Fantastic. So, he's raised a bunch of issues. Now, could you address those if you all don't mind? Whoever's going to take a shot. Is Avinash going to take a shot?
So from November now, we are part of InMobi group, and InMobi works across the globe. So there is a committee on, which takes care and to standardize everything on security and user information and everything. And there are a set of procedures which have been laid on to, for every team to to ensure. It also covers, how the personal information is stored in the servers, how it is hashed at different levels, who in the organization has access to what information, and what kind of gateways are built there. Also, a lot of security. There's a team dedicated on security in the organization. So we have won all of those things. Also, if we hear anything from any community, any person coming up with a hack or anything tells us about it. It happens. It has happened rarely, but a couple of times we have also taken their help to find what if they have found any bugs or hacks in our app and the whole ecosystem, and how can and we have solved them quickly as possible. Also help them with some reward, encourage them to come up with more if they can find in our app. uh, a lot of things on we haven't seen any attack where someone was able to alter the content created by a person, but we will be very sensitive to it. If we hear anything about it, would be we'll work very quickly to make right changes if there is any there.
So Sudarshan, you
But
will be impacted.
impersonation has been there. As in the community, a lot of people have used someone else's name in the account and tried to create account in their names. And whenever we have got any such report, we have been very active to take down those accounts and take down those contents.
Yeah.
So Sudarshan, you won't have that problem since you have professionally. So I'll ask
We deal with it every day. We deal with everything. We got content protection that we need to worry about. We got payments that we do on the platform, which we need to worry about. We have user information, not personal identification. Well, yes, we store information about their, location, about the device, about age, gender, email IDs, phone numbers, etc. So we work with on it inwards, going out. So how do you first take a look at security? Is it of value to you? Is it important to you as an organization or not? That's the first part where we start. So we have very senior leadership, which leads this entire practice in security, and we are looking at enhancing that internally. But externally, when we work with all our partners, Akamai, AWS, Google, at every front where we work with any of these partners, there's a specific mandate and a roadmap on security that we keep building on. Security is not a one-time thing that you do it once and you forget it and everything is going to be fine. You need dedicated focus on it at every single place that is possible. Also, what happens is once you become large enough, you become very susceptible to unwanted elements trying to get in and steal that information, because there is all of us have heard about what Rishi spoke about and what other organizations have gone through, where there is actually ransom being demanded for your information to either be released back to you or not to be released in public. So that's really how we deal with it every day on an ongoing basis.
No, but your scale is going to go up going further if I see what you have in mind.
Right.
So you're going to be susceptible to the pirates, as we call them, at certain locations, or the kidnappers.
Mm-hmm.
So scaling up will have to happen a lot more, right?
Yes, of course. And we have taken that very seriously, both just at the human level of number of people who are looking at the problem on a daily basis, and the level of people who are working on it, both internationally and in India. So that's really how we understand what the problem out there is, because we've been dealing with it. And thankfully, we've done a good job of it. But that will need to be built up even further.
Fantastic. So Varun, from your perspective, the impersonation, second manipulation, you have all that which is happening. How do you manage that?
Right. So impersonation, it has already started to happen. Especially if say you have a newcomer coming on the platform, he would try to copy the name of the person who is already popular, and try to take benefits out of it. To an extent, by the time, say in a day or two, by the time that actually gets marked and he gets removed, he may have gained some small amount of social capital. That at the end of the day does not hurt the primary user, because we have the provision of providing badges to the users. So just like say Twitter or LinkedIn profile, they provide you the official tag. We do provide such tags to the highly popular users out there. So they have this benefit that even if someone tries to copy, a person can demarcate between the two accounts. I don't know whether it has an official take or it does not have official take. That's one. Second, when it comes to say preventing any financial intrusion because of this, I guess from day one, we have been able to address this, where we do a proper KYC of the user to whom any payment has to be made. So we have we use Aadhaar cards, PAN cards, to perform the basic sanity check around the KYC. The entire process of KYC is automated on the platform, and that ensures that there is no financial mismanipulation which is happening because of these impersonations. So that's how we address this.
Great. Now, I've got questions from the audience. How will banned China products impact UGC Apps businesses like, I won't name them, which are majorly backed by Chinese company investments?
Right. So I'll take it first. I'll probably say, as an Indian company, if there has been lot of coverage as well, trying to pit us against some of the Chinese platforms. But what I actually believe is you should not try to just say derive the value out of a product, based on its origin or its investors. We are completely Indian from that perspective. But despite that, we do want to say this, that while the actual benefit for any Indian as a user should be out of the value from the platform, and not that who has created it. And just trying to create a replica of a Chinese platform will not help any Indian company to grow as well. As an Indian company, you will have to come up with that core value add for the user to be able to say get ahead of any other Chinese platform, right? So that's an important aspect. And if you talk about being Indian, I would say that bring that Indianized flavor to the offering and to the value add. At the end of the day, if I claim to be a core Indian platform, I should be able to bring the native thing, the native flavor to my platform, and that would automatically reflect in the value and the user love. So I should focus more on that rather than say talking about just blanket ban, etc.
Okay, I'm going to throw up a little what do you call it? I'm going to throw a cat among the pigeons. But Baidu, Google's not allowed in China. WhatsApp's not allowed in China. You can get around with VPNs, but all of y'all, please address this. I mean, the nationalism aspect.
I think Abhilash, he's not on now, but he made an interesting comment in the section. So nationalism has to mean a better experience or product, only then it has any meaning to it. So if you have indigenous products that are developed in the country that serves a certain purpose well and addresses that demand or that need of the market, by all means, it's a meritocratic market out there. If there is a good product, it will survive.
Yeah, and to be frank, our experience has been, if you make a good product, your team will support you. That is what is happening with us. People are supporting even if you say it or not. If you don't make a good product, no one will support you. But if you make a good product, people will support you. They will, extend your awareness, will make your thing, make you viral. But at the end of it, you have to make a very good product.
Yeah. So there's another question which has come, which is asking, can UGC ever have a subscription model? Yes.
Definitely.
Well,
Right. Yeah, please go.
Go beyond that, because I want to understand your views.
Right. So I believe that subscription model will be a hit in UGC in time to come. We have already seen quite a few platforms already leveraging that in different ways. Earlier we used to think that edtech platforms cannot have a subscription platform. No, they cannot have a subscription model. But you will see that how edtech has done it wonderfully even before YouTube started YouTube Premium. So people are ready to go for a subscription model. It's all about that. What kind of a value are you packaging? As the outcome of that subscription. We have users. We conduct a regular surveys among our users. 80% of our users they say that they are willing to pay as a small premium a premium subscription amount on a monthly basis. If they can get XYZ value out of the content or the part of the feature of that subscription offering. So I believe that it's completely there, and I believe that Z5, and is one of those platforms which has been able to do it wonderfully. Everyone used to think that Netflix is not able to do that, and if everything. Forget these players. Z5 is one of the examples where I know that how even the people coming from tier 2, tier 3 have been able to go for subscriptions, and I believe that even the core UGC platforms would be able to do that. It's more about the value.
Yeah.
The others, subscription side.
Anil, so maybe I will take that. You see, we see the entire revenue as a pyramid. At the very base, you have the generic AVOD content, the advertising monetization, which all of us are doing right now. But we are acutely aware of how this pyramid stacks up. The next level of this would be digital gifting or tipping, because you like some influencers, you would want to send something out to them, so that will be the next one. After that would be subscription or say TVOD, paying for a particular event. And unfortunately, I don't know, but what has happened in the last 3 months is that you would have never attended a stand-up comedy show online. You would have never just done that. You would have had to comedy club to be able to do that. I've been attending Veer Das's comedy stand-up, paying for it, and he's doing for a good cause, but that's a different thing. So what was out there, and I'm attending another one this weekend. So what was out there and never imaginable has already been brought in. And the user behavior, because the platform like a Z5 and Book My Show, etc., exist, which is able to complete the transactions, you are able to give the user what he wants and let him pay for it. So it's definitely a part of the journey that we will go through.
Yeah, the rest.
So
we on Roposo we have very interesting concept of gifting that Rajni just brought up, where people can, if they like someone's content, they are able to give them, virtual gifts as a token of appreciation. It's very interesting. It's been rapidly growing, and we have been, on lookout of various, subscription and gifts and those things. Continuously, we are yet to see something extremely working in India, but we have been vigilant. We are looking into it continuously.
But would you see yourself become a subscription-driven platform? Do you see yourself, apart from gifting, do you see somebody paying to downloading an app and paying to be able to watch the videos?
I would love to, but not. I don't see it happening in next couple of months. Maybe maybe as Rajil said, maybe for smaller events or live shows, live events going live, and contest or gaming tournaments and those things. Maybe people will be starting to pay through those initially, and then maybe transform into a
Because
full
you guys have to start
subscription
monetizing.
model.
Cash burn is something you got to be careful about.
Yeah. I think time, absolutely. I think we are in the various way of monetizing. Advertisements are also a very good way of monetizing,
In
because
this
people are,
scenario where CPMs are absolutely abysmal.
yeah, but you have to make right partnerships and try to find ways to monetize. Be creative on that. I think as a part of InMobi, have been doing it for some time. So a lot of things we are learning from them in the last few months.
Yeah, Sudarshan, you wanted to say something?
So Firework is doing a couple of experiments, like I think Varun said, they have they are kind of monetizing their kind of creators from different field to provide services. Like we tried a couple of experiments in US and Japan and I think in Russia, wherein we had a we were basically kind of charging users to chat with their favorite creator, and that creator can basically guide them. They can release their videos which are not on the platform, and have allied services which are not part of the normal kind of a video service or a normal streaming service, right? And the people happily paid. That was an experiment we did, and we will be doing that and kind of going forward. Right now, that was an experiment. Yeah, people paid a good amount of subscription for chatting for a week or for a month, and kind of interacting, because they are getting direct touch, right? It's not like on Instagram or Facebook where you have millions of subscribers trying to chat, and then here you have limited number of people, because the chat is moderated, the subscription is kind of paid. So they have that personal feeling when they are talking to those creators. So those kind of experiments we are doing. Of course, apart from that, there are kind of plans in terms of getting those subscriptions for different kind of alert services. But yeah, we may not charge for watching 30-second videos, but we will try and club other services along with that 30-second videos and charge users. So that's the idea.
Fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. I'm going to leave one last question with you all for each of you to take it. The future of UGC, the challenges on the technology side, because as it's going to grow further and further, it's going to get, on the fact that you have different devices, the fact that you have different kinds of content, and what solutions can we preempt in advance from each of you? The future of UGC platforms, the technology.
I think let me take it. UGC platform has three very, very important aspects. One is, people should be able to create very interesting content and through their mobile, and, so do they have features to create content? How to have those features to make this content engaging, fun, and also help them express their feelings, what they want to say, what can you do there? Second is, a platform where people come together and kind of, create a community, people follow each other, encourage each other on creating content. And third is a very, very smart recommendation engine, which right from, moderating and tagging and, filtering out wrong content to personalizing content according to user, their taste, and ability to do that in real time, while people are browsing something. And which in turn doesn't just is about, increasing time of the user on the platform, while also, has a balancing quality factor to it, so that, the user doesn't bore himself or, just see only one kind of a content, and the diversity and that flavor of diversity is maintained on the platform. I think all of these three things combined together are something to look in the future, and I think we all will be working on all of those things.
Yeah. So, and the tech challenges which come with that, with scaling up also. Rajni?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Rajni?
Sure. From the tech perspective, of course, when you go from 8 million DAU to suddenly looking at 100 million DAU, of course, there is a completely new paradigm that you're dealing with. Both in terms, all of your systems will be tested because you are using still the same entitlement base to be able to sign the user on. And you were used to the concurrency of users coming on the platform, that also suddenly changes because if you have those numbers coming in, so every single layer, needs to scale up. The good part is that, companies like ours have always been cloud native and working with very, very scalable companies, whether it's an Akamai with, obviously here on the CDN, but also on the infrastructure. And also what has happened is that the core technology providers like an AWS and Google have also moved on to serverless deployments where you don't need to really linearly scale one after the other. You could have multiple instances ready at the same time and be able to go into that scale. So I think the ecosystem is coming together to support, and you have to be able to take advantage of the best and brightest out there to be able to do it. But personally, for me, I would think that one of the biggest challenges as we scale up is that you'd have say 1 billion people on the platform who are consuming UGC content. What will be very interesting to see is how do you differentiate yourself and what brand proposition do you create, therefore attracting the users on board. So that will be a very important aspect from my perspective.
Great. Varun?
Right. So I guess on the tech side, I agree with Rajni that it has to be the era where you move more towards serverless architectures and start using more and more microservices as well, while definitely scale up your server side. On the user side, I believe that it's more about that what kind of a use case we want to solve for the users at scale. When I say that I want to have say 10 to 15 crore daily active users, what use case am I solving? Am I a video editing tool, or am I a video repository? Am I a video sharing platform? If even today YouTube does not allow or does not provide you big video editing tools. So at Bolo India, we are very clear that we are not a video editing platform. While we'll provide you basic filters, we will never provide you super features around video editing, because we don't want to be seen like a video editing platform. Secondly, we don't want to be seen as a social network platform where having your friends on the platform is a mandatory thing for you to become a success. What we see ourselves is is a platform which could come at the top of the funnel, as a horizontal spectrum, and it provides a unique use case for a different user on a daily basis to consume content as well as to discover and avail services. So from our perspective, content holds the key even at the scale, and how we are able to leverage network effects. We are able to trickle in the network effects both for the creators and for the consumers. So that's the problem, or say that's the challenge which we are already trying to come up with certain preemptive solutions as well as we continue to scale.
Great. Sudarshan, I'll come to Rishi last. Rishi will have the last word on this.
So at Firework, we are focusing on couple of things, right? One is basically, when it comes to user, we are by DNA, kind of a product company, and we started our product, with a very different feature called Reveal, which allows customer or a creator to use content by vertical and horizontal both modes seamlessly. So those kind of IPs we will be getting onto will basically make creator life easy, or creating a good kind of a quality content and differentiated content on the platform. The second IP we tried with, or we have live with right now, is Apple, wherein Apple customer can use both cameras simultaneously and shoot in one single frame. So those kind of IPs we are working on, and in fact for Reveal we already have a kind of it's our own IP, and we got kind of global patent for that. Similarly, now we are very soon going to get second version of IP. In fact, for Samsung also. So we work with every partner, and also try and help them what they are looking at in terms of differentiator for short video or content, and make sure that we also create something unique service to those platforms. So be it our platform or be it our partner platform, we are always looking at creating uniqueness, creating good quality content, or maybe creating something which is what OEM or any other platform is looking at. So differentiator is always going to be our kind of unique ISP or unique USP for Firework as a platform. I think scaling is not a problem, because we have been we are a global platform, and we have seen ups and downs. We are already a UGC platform. And even in the pandemic, we have seen lots of content creators basically creating content. But of course, as Varun was mentioning, right? We don't mind providing solutions to creators, solutions to publication houses, solutions to production houses in terms of creating tools, in terms of studios, in terms of creating content. So we are setting up studios. We are setting up, or we are also working with editing tool company to basically get an enterprise license, which can used by our 4 lakh to 5 lakh creators across the globe. So we are going to work like a software as a service to these partners or these communities, so that they all can basically get benefited with our features, with our tools. So that's what differentiator we're trying to bring to the platform as well as to the community.
Fantastic. Who wants to take a shot next on this? Going forward, the future. If everyone said their bit, I'll go to Rishi now. Thanks. Rishi, your perspective on the future and the challenges, the technical challenges, the user challenges.
So I think in the near future, and I'm not talking years, this is going to become a ubiquitous world. You're going to exist in a world where people are creating as much content as they're consuming. And for a lot of people, that's already the case today, whether it's through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or whatever are the other myriad applications they do. And as a consumer today, I'm not a producer myself. I very rarely create stuff for the internet, but at least 40-50% of the content that I consume today is coming from another consumer. It is not just professional curated content. So it's going to be a world where it's going to be pretty seamless. And I think the vision that folks like Z5 and Fresh and Firework are creating is exactly that. You're going to see a big title movie, you're going to see another user-generated content all in the same screen. And you know what? You wouldn't care whether it was made by some guy or a professional guy. It's going to come to that. And for you to be in that world where experiences are consistent, seamless, you would have to pay attention to your technology. Sometimes it might not be using what's just available off the shelf. Sometimes it might mean that you need to invest in a couple of iterations. I think this group here is literally leading that cusp of change.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure to chat with all of y'all, and I hope the audience had a great time. Thank you very much. You guys have a great day wherever you are. And until we meet again, goodbye. Thank you. This is Anil Banwari saying bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Anil. Nice talking to
Okay.
you. Bye-bye, guys.